Okay, this is not a Trump video, so if that's what you're looking for, swipe left. This is part of the vacation series where I'm trying to help guys figure out whether or not they actually want to make a trip overseas to see what life is like. Because later this month, I'm on vacation and I am going back to the Philippines. I've got a question for you, fellas, and it's a question you might not have seriously had to consider before. But it's this: what do you want? What do you really want? And I'm setting this up because this is something I hadn't really thought about before I went to the Philippines. But once I was there, I realized that my options were a whole lot different. See, over in the States, you kind of date who's available. You know, women who are about 10 years younger than you and up. That's generally your dating pool. That's generally my dating pool. You know, and you just kind of accept it. You know that the women are probably going to have careers. You know, as you get older, they've probably got kids. You just kind of accept a lot of things as facts about who's available to you to date. But you don't stop to ask yourself what you actually want. Because some of the things that you might want, you might not think are possible. Well, the Philippines is all different. It's all different. So, let me ask the question again. What do you want? Well, let's think about it. Do you want a wife? Do you just want a girlfriend? Maybe you just want to play around and have fun and sleep with as many women as you can. I'm not judging. I'm just asking the question. What do you want? First time I went to the Philippines, I went there to meet a woman who I'd talked to online. And I was focused on spending time with her, developing a relationship with her. But my eyes were open to possibilities in the Philippines because on that trip, while I was with the woman who I went there to see, there were women who were flirting with me. And they weren't just, average women. No, some of these women were incredibly attractive and incredibly forward about what they wanted. Looking at the situation, I realized, hey, I could date a woman who's a 10 if I wanted to. I could date a woman who's 22 if I wanted to. I realized when this woman who I would guess was around 19 kind of flirted with me that I didn't want someone that young. I'd never had to think about that before because I never had a 19-year-old flirting with me, but I was on a beach waiting to go whale shark diving and this 19-year-old just started chatting me up. Kind of goes back to the question, what is it that you're looking for? Some guys, you want a wife. And if that's what you're looking for, hey, have that. You can find a wife in the Philippines. But even with that, let's ask some questions. Do you want a woman with kids? Or do you not care? See, it's easy to say you don't care when you don't expect to be able to find childless women. But when you actually have the option, do you want the woman with kids or do you want the woman who doesn't have kids? See, for me, it's pretty simple. If I don't have to choose a woman with kids, I won't. Not judging them, it's just if I don't have to have that burden, I don't see the point. I can be the focus. So I would much rather have a woman who has no kids. I can be the focus. And to be perfectly honest, if I'm over in the Philippines and I date a woman who's like 24, 25, culturally, I'm going to expect her to want kids. That's how they are. I don't have a problem with that. Like, shoot, have 2, have 3, have 4. What do I care? It's inexpensive over there. Give her several kids. She'll be happy as a clam. Put them in a house that doesn't really cost that much and you're good. For perspective, you can build a house from scratch in the Philippines, like $25K. That's your house. That's the house for you, your little woman, and whatever rugrats that you two have together. That's relatively cheap. Heck, if you compare that to the cost of a condo or an apartment, after a couple of years, it's paid for itself. Goes back to the question, is that what you want? I know guys who are over there who basically are just having their fun. They're enjoying their life. They're older, they've got a house. They're dating around and they are enjoying dating as many women as they can handle. And that's them. No judgment. That's just not what I want. I want someone in my life who I can build my life with. And I want it to be someone who's, number one, appreciative, but number two, I want her to physically be appealing, which basically means not fat. Pleasant attitude. I don't really feel like I have to specify that because over there I seem to get it. But it goes back to the question, what do you want? How beautiful does she really need to be? If you've got to have a woman who's got, an hourglass figure, well, figure that out. You can find it over there if you need it. Does she need to be under 30? Does she need to be childless? Does she need to have a certain kind of disposition? These are all very real questions that you should ask yourself, because once you're over there, what you're going to realize is whatever it is you want, you can probably find. The more picky you are, the more time it might take to find it, but it's there. You just have to be willing to look. However, before you get to that point, you need to ask yourself what it is you're looking for. So think about it. Looks, attitude, accoutrements. What is it that you're looking for? I would say take a minute, really think about that, and then set your sights on it when you're there. When I go to the Philippines, I know that I'm going to be looking for a woman who's childless and who is pleasant to be around, also has an intellectual spark. If I start with those three things, then I feel like I can kind of work my way through most of the rest, but I'll play it by ear. I'm in no rush. I plan to eventually retire, or at least semi-retire in the Philippines, so I'm just planting seeds now for the life I plan to live later. That's me. Your choice might be different. Take a minute, think about it. End of the month, I'm going to the Philippines. I'm going to be there for 2 weeks. I'm trying to help guys understand whether they want to make the trip too. So if you want to follow along with this series, click subscribe.